Thorgal. Thorgal is a fantasy-adventure Franco-Belgian comics series by Belgian writer Jean Van Ham and Polish graphic artist Grzegorz Rosiński. It has incorporated elements of Norse mythology, the legend of Atlantis, as well as science fiction and horror. In 2002, it was adapted as an adventure video game, Thorgal, Curse of Atlantis, by Cryo Interactive Entertainment. History. The comic first appeared in serial form in Tintin magazine in 1977. It has subsequently been published in hardcover volumes by Le Lombard from 1980 on. Translations have appeared in English, Dutch, German, Polish, Italian, Spanish, and Greek. Reception and significance. Thorgal is critically acclaimed and one of the most popular French-language comics, with more than 11 million Thorgal books in print. There are currently 3 ongoing successful spin-off series, in addition to the continuation of the main Thorgal series. Grzegorz Rosiński, in his 1995 book Graphic Novels, a bibliographic guide to book-length comics, praised the series, stating that it is better than an American swords and sorcery comic when it comes to both art and stories. Commenting on the Archer's volume, Rothschild described it as one of the finest pieces of heroic fantasy I have ever set my eyes on. The series has also been credited with popularizing the comics in Poland. Main characters. Thorgal Egerson, son of Varth and Hamme, grandson of Zargos, a captain of a spaceship on a way to Earth in search of energy. He is raised by Vikings after his ship crash lands. He possesses character traits and morality that many Vikings consider a sign of weakness. Thorgal is still a courageous and skillful warrior and an archer of phenomenal skill. His life's goal is to find a place for his family to live in peace. For a time, he is stripped of his memory and becomes the pirate lord Shagan, though his compassion remained unaltered. Arshia, Thorgal's wife and the daughter of Gandalf the Mad, a Viking leader. She is bound to Thorgal from the moment of her birth by a magic object named Tijazi's Tears. Arshia is a spirited and strong-willed woman who loves her family dearly despite all the mishaps Thorgal's fate brings to their lives. Jalan, Thorgal's son. He possesses supernatural powers as the heritage of Thorgal's mysterious ancestry. For most of the series, his power is limited to molecular agitation, usually the ability to disintegrate objects. He gradually learns to hone his ability. Luv, Thorgal and Arshia's daughter, who has the ability to communicate with animals. Chris of Velner, a bound, beautiful, unscrupulous and deadly warrior, and also a skilled archer. She first appears in Less Archers, and then intermittently in the following stories. She is in some ways Thorgal's greatest nemesis, and repeatedly tries to hurt him and his family, but occasionally shows hints of admiration and even secret love for Thorgal. When Thorgal loses his memory, she tricks him into believing that they are married and convinces Thorgal that he is the ruthless pirate lord Shagan. She becomes pregnant with his son Aniel, whom her father Cahanul of Valnor wished to reincarnate himself, but Thorgal eventually regains his memory and leaves to find his true family. Later, she ends up as a slave in Byzantium and apparently sacrifices her life. Aniel, the young son of Thorgal and Chris of Velner, conceived while Thorgal lived as the pirate lord Shagan. He and his mother fall prey to Byzantine slavers, and his vocal cords are cut to forestall crying, leaving him mute. Later, Chris and Aniel escape the slave pits with Arshia, Jalan and Luv, who had also been brought there. When Chris is wounded by her pursuers and prepared to make her last stand, she asks Arshia to take care of Aniel. Arshia agrees and takes Aniel in as one of her own children. Aniel is later kidnapped to serve as a host body for Kalam, Grand Master of the Red Mages of the Oriental city of Baghdad, Lefiu Ecarlate. With the help of Arminos the Mage, both Cahanul and Kalam are exorcised from him, but having become hateful of Thorgal, he leaves with his mother. Other characters. Agatai, also known as Varth, the war-loving, merciless god brought by the sea into the land of Ka, presumably South American pre-Columbian civilization. He leads his people into countless conquests of the neighboring tribes and orders endless human sacrifices to himself. He has superior intelligence, knowledge of highly advanced technology, and supernatural powers which he uses to trick people into believing he is a true god. In reality, he is a grief-stricken, crazed man driven by the vengeance against the planet he believes responsible for the death of his beloved wife and son. Tanatlok, also known as Zorgos, another god living in the land of Ka. He is the nemesis of Agatai, with whom he shares a secret past. He is kept hidden from his people. Dirk and Layla, brother and sister children of banished Vikings who met Arshia and her family after they had been banished from their village following Shagan's raids against their people. They joined Thorgal and his family on their journey, but after a few adventures they decided to stay behind on an island Thorgal and Luv had just liberated from a tyrant Arachne. However, Layla later turns up a slave in the northern lands, where she is liberated by Thorgal and taken along for his search for Aniel Labate's saber. They later recovered Derek from slavery in the jungle kingdom of Jori Aniel, and subsequently joined Thorgal's extended family. The Key Guardian, a powerful magician, who is or maybe just assumes the form of a beautiful woman. The gods have entrusted her with the task of guarding the passages between worlds. She walks between the worlds, wearing nothing but a golden girdle that grants her powers and immortality. She has, like many other female characters appearing in the series, a crush on Thorgal, but she respects his loyalty to his family. Tijol, called by some people Tijol the Fiery, the young, hot-headed nephew of Treefoot and friend of Thorgal. An excellent archer with a good heart and a silly mind who has a crush on Chris. He later dies while accompanying Thorgal to the city of the lost god Lassite Diu Perdue, saving him from a raging mob. Argun Treefoot, he's uncle of Tijol. He's a warrior past his prime and with a peg leg, but still an exceptional archer and bowmaker. One of Thorgal's few friends. Salvade, she is a Viking who is the best friend of Arshia. Devoted friend, she will help the family Egerson. Shania, a teenage girl from a village enamored in the adult and married Thorgal. Out of jealousy, she causes a great tragedy in Thorgal's life, but later redeems herself by giving her own life to save Arshia. Gandalf the Mad, Arishia's father and king of the Vikings of the North. He became the leader of his tribe after Thorgal's adoptive father's death. Greedy, cruel, and mad, he makes repeated attempts at Thorgal's life, whom he perceives a threat to the legitimacy of his own rule. Taigo and Ionia, brother and sister descendants of a group of spacefarers who had landed on Midgard and formed the fabled kingdom of Atlantis. They foiled their elders' plan to enslave the world and traveled together with Thorgal and his family. Soon afterwards, however, they were all taken as slaves to a Byzantine governor and his sadistic son Heraclius, who made Ilyina his personal pet. When Tyago tried to stop Heraclius from abusing his sister, the nobleman murdered him. In revenge, Ionia killed Heraclius later on and, facing imminent death, joined her brother by throwing herself off a cliff. Snake Nidhogg, a powerful, mythological monster creature, which Thorgal dared to go against in his youth with the help of the goddess Frigg. Based on Nidhogg from Norse mythology. Volsung of Nishar, a cunning, treacherous schemer. He first appears as Thorgal's competitor in 3 Elders of Arryn, but apparently dies in the tests they have to face. Actually, Nidhogg saves him to be her servant. His mission is to gain the Girdle of Immortality from the Guardian of the Keys. For betraying her, she transforms Volsung into a toad and keeps him with her trapped in the Neverness. Muff, a dog that belongs to Jalin and Luv. He appears for the last time in the Blue Sickness, when he stayed on the island of Our Ground, together with Derek de Smeer and his sister Layla, because he was too old to travel any further. Elino appeared in the volume of the same name as a violent, primitive boy with green hair, and was revealed to be part of Jalin's imagination, and he vanished when Jalin's mysterious bracelet was removed by Thorgal. Manther, a Viking half-god who cures Thorgal in sacrifice. He is the son of Canul of Valnor and the half-brother of Chris of Valnor. Vigrid, one of the lesser gods of Asgard, who is indebted towards Arshia for having helped him after having gone blind. He repays this debt by helping her husband reach Manther and bringing her back to her ancestral home. However, his love for Arshia eventually made him abandon a task set by the gods, compelling Frigg to banish him from Asgard to Svartalfheim Luvhashfive Skald. However, he finally earns his eventual pardon by taking the recalcitrant Nidhogg's destined place as the guardian of Yggdrasil Luvhash 7, Nidhogg. The kingdom of Jar first featured in Lamal Bliu, Sarkaj and Zajkar, the twin princes of Jar. To avoid dynastic disputes, Zajkar was chosen to be killed right after birth, but survived and was taken in by the Memes. After growing to manhood, and with Thorgal's help, he reclaims his rightful place and reconciles with his brother, with whom he rules the realm as a deity. Arminos, a reclusive mage and inventor. He first saves Thorgal and his family from the Blue Death disease, and later Aniel from his jewel possession Aniel. Zim, a member of the Memes, Gerians afflicted with dwarfism and made outcast swamp dwellers. Sim falls in love with Thorgal upon his first visit, but respects his faithfulness to his family. When Thorgal returns to Jar after completing his search for Aniel, Sim loses her life in the last decisive battle against a horde of Amazons. Fictional character biography. After of being lost at sea, the ship of Viking leader Leif Haraldsson suddenly finds its way home, guided by a mysterious light in the fog. To the superstitious Vikings, the light is seen as a sign from the gods. Once on shore, they find a sort of capsule which appears to be the source of the mysterious light. Leif opens the capsule and finds a newborn baby boy. He names the child Thorgal, Aegir's son, after Thor, the Norse god of thunder, and Aegir, the ruler of the sea, because he considers Thorgal to be a gift from the gods. Leif takes Thorgal under his care as his adoptive son. As Thorgal grows up, he is curious about his origins and often ostracized by his peers for not being a real Viking. On his 6th birthday, Leif gives him two strange artifacts taken from the capsule he was found in. One is a jewel made from the metal that doesn't exist. The jewel brings Thorgal on his first adventure, and binds his fate forever with that of Arshia, his future wife. When Thorgal is 12, the other gift prompts him to visit an old Weissman, who reveals to Thorgal his origins and true identity. He tells him that he's one of the last survivors of a group of technologically advanced spacefarers who came to the planet in search of new energy sources. His people have great supernatural powers, like changing the molecular composition of matter with their mind, powers that Thorgal himself seems not to have. Thorgal learns about his real parents and grandfather, and the events that preceded his birth. The old man decides to erase Thorgal's memory of their encounter and the knowledge he just learned, believing that it will be better for Thorgal to grow up as a normal Viking boy with no supernatural powers. Thorgal, however, continues to grow up as curious and conflicted about his true identity as ever. Soon after this event, Leif Haraldsson dies and Gandalf the Mad is chosen as his successor. Gandalf repeatedly tries to get rid of Thorgal, because as he constantly reminds everyone, Thorgal is an outsider and not of Viking blood. In reality, Gandalf feels threatened because Thorgal is Leif's heir. In the meantime, Thorgal's relationship with Arshia, Gandalf's daughter, develops and strengthens. While her wishes do not have much influence on her father, she is able to save Thorgal from certain death by her father's hand through her determination and ingenuity. The first album of the series starts some years later, when Thorgal is already an adult, and Gandalf devises a plan to kill him after realizing how deep the love his daughter has for Thorgal really is. Thorgal really is. Collected editions. The albums consist of several story arcs and many stand-alone stories. Jean Van Ham's story and Grzegorz Rosiński art. 1. La Magician Trahi 1980. 2. Elil des Mersgellies 1980, 1980. 3. Les Trois Villages du Pays d'Aran 1981. 4. La Gallermoor 1982, start of the Brexarth story arc. 5. Au-delà des Ombres 1983. 6. La Chute de Brexarth 1984, end of the Brexarth story arc. 7. Il Enfant des Étoiles 1984, 3 short stories from Thorgal's youth. 8. Alino 1985. 9. Les Archers 1986. 10. Le Pays Con 1986, start of the Ka story arc. 11. Les Jeux de Tanatloch 1986. 12. La Cite du Dieu Perdu 1987. 13. Entre Terre et Lumière 1988, end of the Ka story arc. 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 Arc. Story arc. 14. Arachie 1989, 4 short stories from Arachia's youth. 15. Le Maître des Montagnes 1989. 16. Louvre 1990. 17. La Gardienne des Clés 1991. 18. El Episole 1992. 19. La Forteresse Invisible 1993, start of the Shagan story arc. 20. La Marque des Bannies 1994. 21. La Caron d'Agatai 1995. 22. Jeans 1996. 23. La Cage 1997, end of the Shagan story arc. 24. Arachnia 1999. 25. 26. Le Royaume sous le Sable 2001. 1001. 27. Le Barbare 2002. 28. Chris de Valner 2004. 29. Le Sacrifice 2006. Yves Saint Story and Grzegorz Rosiński art. 30. Moi, Jolin 2007 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7. 31. Le Bouclier de Four 2008. 32. La Bataille d'Esgard 2010 and 2010 and 2010 and 2010. 33. Le Bete Sabre 2011 and 2011. 34. Ka Anil 2013. Xavier Dorison story and Grzegorz Rosiński art. 35. Jan story and Grzegorz Rosiński art. 36. Anil 2018. Jan story and Fred Vignox art. 37. Ellermite de Skillinger 2019. 38. La Selkie 2020 T20 T2020 T2020 T20 T2020. 39. Neocora 2021 21. Les Mondes de Thorgal Chris de Valner, the Worlds of Thorgal Chris of Valner, a spin-off. Yves Saint Story and Giulio de Vita art. 1. G. Inabli Reen. I Forget Nothing. 2010. 2. La Sentence des Valkyries, The Sentence of the Valkyries. 2012. 12. 3. Dean Dune Reini, Fit for a Queen. 2012. 4. Alliances. 2013. 5. Rouge Camilla Rahaborg, Red Like Rahaborg. 2014. Xavier Dorison and Matthew Mariel story and Roman Surgenko art. 6. El Isle des Enfants Perdus, The Island of Lost Children. 2015. Xavier Dorison and Matthew Mariel story and Fred Vignox art. 7. La Montagne du Temps 2017. 8. Le Maître de Justice 2018. Spin-off Les Mondes de Thorgal Louvre. Jan Le Penetier story and Roman Surgenko art. 1. Racer 2011. 2. La main QP du Dieu Tyre, The Severed Hand of the God Tyre, 2012. 3. Le Royaume du Chaos, The Kingdom of Chaos, 2013. 4. Crocro, 2014. 5. Skald, 2015. 6. La Reine des Elfes, Norse Queen of the Black Elves, 2016. 7. Nidhogg, 2017. Spin-off Les Mons de Thorgal, La Jeunesse de Thorgal, the Youth of Thorgal, Jan Le Penetier's Story, and Roman Surgeon Co-Art. 1. Les Trois Sœurs Minkilson, The Three Minkilson Sisters, 2013. 2. El Coteau Isle Dod in the Eye of Odin, 2014. 3. Runner Rune, 2015. 4. Berserkers, 2016. 5. Slivia, 2017. 6. La Drakkar des Glaces, 2018. 7. La Dent Bleu, 2019. Besides series, Aux Origins des Mondes Thorgal's World, 2012, a collection of interviews about the creation of spin-off Thorgal series, interviewed by Patrick Gomera with Grzegorz Rosiński, Giuliano De Vita, Yves Saint, Roman Surgeon Co. and Jan Le Penetier. English version. Thorgal, Child of the Stars was published by Donning Company Publishers in 1986, with ISBN 0-89865-501-3. Cinebook Limited has begun reprinting the series starting with Child of the Stars and Arshia in 2007. 0. The Betrayed Sorceress, ISBN 9,781,849,184,434 collects La Magician Trahi and El Isle des Mers Jolies 1 and 2. Child of the Stars, ISBN 9,781,905,460,236 collects Child of the Stars and Arshia 7 and 14. The Three Elders of Aaron, ISBN 9,781,905,460,311 collects The Three Elders of Aaron and the Black Galley 3 and 4. Beyond the Shadows, ISBN 9,781,905,460,458 collects Beyond the Shadows and The Fall of Brek-Zareth 5 and 6. The Archers, ISBN 9,781,905,460,670 collects Aelino and Les Archers 8 and 9. The Land of Ka, ISBN 9,781,905,460,809 collects Le Pays Ka and Les Ukes de Tanatlok 10 and 11. City of the Lost God, ISBN 9,781,849,180,016 collects La Cite du Perdu and Entre Terre Lumiere 12 and 13. The Master of the Mountains, ISBN 9,781,849,180,238 contains Le Maître des Montagnes 15. Wolf Cub, ISBN 9,000,000. The Guardian of the Keys, ISBN 9,781,849,180,504 contains Le Gardien des Clés 17. The Sun Sword, ISBN 9,781,849,180,573 contains Alepi Solo 18. The Invisible Fortress, ISBN 9,781,849,181,037 contains La Forteresse Invisible 19. The Brand of the Exiles, ISBN 9,781,849,181,365 contains La Marque des Bannis 20. Agathai's Crown, ISBN 9,000,000. 781,849,181,426 contains La Carandagatay 21 Giants ISBN 9,781,849,181,563 contains Genes 22. The Cage ISBN 9,781,849,181,860 contains La Cage 23. Age 23. Arachnia ISBN 9,781,849,182,478 contains Arachnia 24. The Blue Plague ISBN 9,781,849,182,904 contains The Blue Plague 25. The Kingdom Beneath the Sand ISBN 9,781,849,183,451 contains The Kingdom Beneath the Sand 26. The Barbarian ISBN 9,781,849,183,994 contains The Barbarian 27. Chris of Vellner ISBN 9,781,849,184,229 contains Chris de Vellner 28. The Sacrifice ISBN 9,781,849,184,267 contains The Sacrifice 29. Jalan ISBN 9,791,032,807,309 contains Moi, Jalan 30. Thor's Shield ISBN 9,791,032,807,835 contains La Bouclier de Thor 31. The Battle of Asgard contains La Bataille d'Asgard 32. The Blade Ship contains La Bataille Sabre 33. Ka Anil contains Ka Anil 34. The Scarlet Fire contains Le Feu Écarlate 35. Anil contains Anil. Other media, 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 media. In 2002, Le Lombard published a video game for Microsoft Windows entitled Thorgal, Curse of Atlantis, and developed by Cryo Interactive Entertainment. In 2016, there is announced that the comic is going to be a series directed by Florian Henkel von Donnersmarck. In 2018, von Donnersmarck said that the project is at the top of his list.